Welcome to Ren's Review. My name is Ren, and I review restaurants, resorts, rentals, and more for your travels and recreations. Today, I will be visiting the Lodge Poker Club for their weekly 5-5 Uncapped live stream cash game. So let's get right into the action. The very first hand I get dealt is Pocket Kings, the second best starting hand in the game. Now, you never want to slow play this premium, because let's say, what if 5-4 comes along and they call you and Ace Deuce 3 comes on the flop? They have a straight and you got Pocket Kings. You're drawing pretty slim. What if 5-4 comes on the flop and your opponent has 2 pair? You still have Pocket Kings at 1 pair. So you want to thin out the field as much as you can with those premiums and avoid losing money in the long run. Slow playing does reward you sometimes, but more time than not, they will cost you money. The very next hand, we have a double straddle going on, and I look down at Ace 4 offsuit. It's only 25 more, so of course you got to call that with any ace. Now, if you get raised, more than likely someone has a pocket pair or a higher ace, so that make you consider folding. But right now, no one looks like they're raising. No one looks like they're going crazy. They want to feel everyone out, because usually this is a new table and no one knows how everyone plays. So we're just getting the feel of how we all play right now. So 4 ways to a flop, and we see Queen 9-4, and I bottom pair, and everyone is checking so far. So it doesn't look like anyone has a queen or a 9. And now another 9 comes, more likely than not, no one has a 9, because two are on the board, and it's really hard to have one in your hand as well. So I called bottom pair just to see what's going on. And finally another 9 comes. So it's really hard to have that 9 now, and we both check it down. Pretty standard. So the third hand I get is 7-3 of clubs. I raise it because you have to switch it up. You can't just raise with big pairs or any pair. You have to throw in some curveballs at times. So I figure this would be a good one just to throw everyone off. And I get Queen Jacks to call. So hopefully no clubs come. Of course, I don't know this. I can't see their cards, but seeing it now, I see that they're open-ended. So I bet, because I want to represent a 10 or a 9, and both of them make the call, chasing that straight. So now we go 3 ways to a turn, and now 6 comes. Now I overbet this pot to 315 just to show them hey, I have a 9, 7, 8, or a 10, and I don't want you to come along. But really, I have 7 high, so luckily I took that one down. A couple of hands later, Tito is on the button with King 7 offsuit, and he raises to 75. Now I am under the gun, and I look down at Ace 10 offsuit. It's a standard call. It's not a raising hand. I want to see a flop and see what I can hit. The flop comes Jack Queen 10. I have bottom pair and top kicker, but I also need a king to fulfill my straight, which Tito has a king. And I check, and Tito bets out 75, and I call Tito immediately. So the turn comes the king, which gives Tito top pair, but it gives me the straight. He bets out 125, and I immediately raise him to 500, because you see there's 2 clubs on the board, and if a third one comes, my straight gets busted by a flush, and I don't want to risk that. So I'd rather take it down right now. A couple of hands later, I get dealt pocket 3s in the +3, which of course you have to raise that. And I make it 125, maybe a little too big, but I'm surprised that Connor had ace jack and didn't call me. Wow. But nonetheless, pocket threes take it down. Here we have another double straddle, and this time Tito in the cutoff raises to 85. I have queen jack and I am in the big blind, so I'm going to call, of course. I want to see a flop, and it gives us king, deuce, jack. I have second pair and I check it. Tito bets it. Of course, I don't know what he has, but he's representing a king. He needs a 10 to a straight or an ace to beat my jack, but I don't know that. I only have second pair. And then the 7 comes and I check again, and Tito bets again. Now that bet might have made me believe he had a king, so that's why I decided to fold, but really I should have chased it down just to see what he had with second pair. Next hand, I am in the +2 with ace-6 offsuit. Now I'm going to call this because ace-6, that's a calling hand. You don't really want to raise with that hand. You don't really want to 3-bet or go over the top with that hand because it's an ace rag, and a lot of other aces can beat you. And a lot of people fold. Connor calls, which I would call 2 with 9-7 suited. Jeremy has an ace-3, and see for this example right here, Tito has ace-7 suited. He has me beat right currently pre-flop, so that's why you don't really raise with ace-6. But as soon as we go to a flop and we see 6-4 deuce, I have top pair, top kicker. I have a 52% chance of winning now, and to protect that, I'm gonna bet out 75 because flush draws are there, straight draws are there, a lot is there that can beat me real so far. So Tito calls with an ace-7, and now the 3 comes. I immediately bet out 100 just to see if he has a 5 or not, and he thinks it over and he calls. Now the river comes in 8. If I was good on the flop, then I will be good most of the time for this hand. So I bet out 200 just to make sure, and Tito thinking he wants to make a move, but ultimately decides to lay it down because I've been representing the 5 or a high pair the whole time. After an orbit, we're going to play a single board bomb pot. That's after every orbit, in fact. We each put in $100, and we all get 2 cards, and we go immediately to a flop. You can't raise pre-flop, so we just have to play with what we have. So the flop comes out queen 9-5, and as you can see, no one really has anything except a pair of 9s. So action goes check all around. No one wants to be taking a stab at a $900 pot, I guess, but you know, that's how the table was so far. So now comes an 8. I have a 7. Multiple people have 7s, and we all need a 6 for a straight. But I'm the one who takes the initiative and bets out 400 because everyone checked on the flop and everyone is still checking, so I might as well bet and see where I'm at. And apparently no one had anything to call me with. Tito was thinking about this flush draw, but I guess everyone laid it down, and it's a good pot to take down with just king high. After getting that bluff through, I was feeling pretty good. I pick up 5 cents of diamonds, and I decided to raise it. I'm on that winner's tilt, so that's a bad thing to have, because if you have loser's tilt, you know, you're angry and you're playing to get your money back. But if you have winner's tilt, you're like, oh, nothing can stop me. I can hit anything. Well, it looks like Bart picks up pocket jacks and 3-bets me to 325. So I, of course, called because I want to see if my 5-7 of diamonds will get me anywhere. And the flop comes king 8-6 with 2 spades. I need a 9 or a 4 for a straight. As you can see above, I have 6 outs. But Bart already has a pair of jacks, and he's way ahead of me. He is 66% chance of winning this hand, and he bets out 225, and I call just to see if I can get that 9 or a 4. Turn card's pretty interesting. It is the King of Diamonds. Now, I take the initiative and bet 400 just to represent that king. But Bart thinks it over, and he's a smart guy. He's a professional, and he knows that if there's 2 kings on the board, more likely than not, I don't have a king. So he calls, and just to see what I do if I bomb the river, which becomes a deuce, becomes a complete blank. I have 7 high and nothing, so I go ahead and just check it, because any bet that I make, or if I go all in, I had a pretty good feeling he would have snap called me in an instant. So that's why I decided to just shut down and just give up, because he's gonna call me with pocket jacks. I just knew it. He bets big here, and I just immediately fold and just take my loss. Next, we have Dylan in a +2 with 9-8 suited. He's going to raise this up to 100. He's been fairly quiet. Tito comes along, of course, with his Ace-10 offsuit. And Bones has Ace-3 of hearts, which he's going to come along too. I pick up pocket kings. I immediately am going to 3-bet this. You should always 3-bet this, because pocket kings are ace magnets. You see 2 aces are already in people's hands, but a 3rd or a 4th ace could come on the board. So many people will tell you pocket kings are ace magnets. So you have to make it big enough to where these ace X holdings don't want to play and know that you mean business. Slick Rick and Skull Mike are amazing commentators. Let's hear what they have to say.
Going, yeah. Every quarter, every couple of months, keep an eye out for the new coin, because they're coming, folks. Designs 3 and 4 in production, but we're going to ride high with the Lodge Mahal coin as we move into the new building in just a matter of weeks.
Jimmy B says, Kevin, that headset won't fit. Rick has a pretty large head. Could be, could be. It's adjustable.
253 bet here from Jalen with the Ace-5 of spades. Connor's going to go set mining. And Ren, I like our boy Ren. Ren does not give an F about what his 2 cards are. He's going to come along here and spike open-ended.
He's just hasn't changed his expression all night. Just in fear mode right now. He's trying to strike fear.
Look, sees a free card there, and the 3's now in the lead versus the pair of 2's. Ren seizes the opportunity here, 700. That's going to take it down there. So 7-3 on the button. Nobody's going to push Ren off of his button, the Lodge Mahal button.
Miami Vice.
Take down a nice pot.
Now it's time for another single board bomb pot. You know the drill. $100 in, you get 2 cards, no pre-flop raises, straight to the action. So I look down at King 3 of diamonds, and I'm like, this ain't bad, but could be better. But when the flop comes 10-8-7 with 2 diamonds, I got that flush draw. So the ace high flush draw could still be there, but I don't know that. Jeremy with queens immediately bets 300. So that's a good bet, but that's not going to chase my flush draw away. So I bet as well, and I call. We get Tito come along, and then we get Dylan to come along with the open-ended straight draw with the top pair. Next is the king. So I'm sitting pretty good with top pair and the flush draw. But I'm still worried about the 9. I'm pretty sure someone had the 9 or a jack. So open-ended is still there. But Tito, though, he has pair of 10s in the flush draw as well. But I didn't know that. So I go ahead and call him. And surprisingly, the 9 folded. I was expecting the 9 to still chase, and the 9 would have gotten there. I really thought Tito had a 9 in the straight. And the way he was betting, that's what I was thinking, but how was I supposed to know? So I just couldn't call because I thought the 9 came, but not the flush draw that came. But I should have called. Yeah, I really should have called this one, but that was a $1,000 loss to me. You win some and then you lose some. You could have won more, but you could have lost a lot more as well. Next hand, we have Tito in the +1. He has pocket 6s. He raises it up to 50. I am in a hijack, and I look at the pocket 3s, and I'm calling for sure. I want to get my money back. And Dylan is looking at the small blind button bonus with 5-8 of diamonds coming along. Connor with 10-7 of clubs is going to join, and Jeremy with pocket 7s is going to call as well. So now we are going 5 ways to a flop. The flop comes 9 queen 4 with 2 hearts. We all have just about 1 heart, and Tito though makes the initial bet of 75 trying to steal it. Me, I'm having none of it. I'm trying to get my money back, so I call him immediately, and everyone else folds. So once again, it's me and Tito battling it out. So we are both going to a turn, which comes a king. Now, Tito checks. There's no way in hell I'm checking. I'm betting 200 to represent that king, trying to get my money back, and I did. And luckily, that's how you got to do it. So far, I am down 900, but this is far from over, ladies and gentlemen. Next, we're going to listen to what the 2 best live stream commentators for poker have to say.
Wonder how many hours of sleep you get the night before your first stream.
I'm going to be a little nervous. I'm not going to lie to you.
You're a little nervous. A little nervous. Okay. Well, good luck to you, sir.
I don't know,
You don't know, you know.
You
know.
Will you give me some tips? I mean,
Just play your game.
that's what I'm afraid of. $40 coming around. Jaywin looks at the small blind button bonus and says, I can't even go for it. Every time it goes around, it gets bigger and bigger. Kind of like that joke I told about the organ that gets the part of the body that can get up to 10 times the size when it gets excited.
What?
Let me know if you know that. The joke, you remember that joke? Teacher gets up in front of the class.
I just snoozed off for about 10 seconds, and then I hear about the organ that goes up and down.
Sarah Mick, $4.99 super chat says, selfie booth coming soon. I love it.
Interesting hand here, Ren with the ace and the nut flush draw. Bones with a pair of queens, looking for a 10. 10 unlikely, as Jeremy just folded 2 10s of his own, but Bones still interested in this pot for $40. Makes the call. We go heads up to a turn. 8 of clubs, so Ren still with a stranglehold on this hand. Reaching for more chips. Let's see what he comes with. Probably, why do you go a little
60.
higher than that?
Dealer Kevin, Nick from Yuma. Dealer Kevin, who's always on the stream, always asks me if I'm nervous. That's who. Like a broken record. Call from Nick from Yuma. I gotta tell you, I may dress like Ren on the stream. Shirt open to about my belly button. Nice gold chain, sunglasses.
Please do. Please do.
$1.50.
You don't have a choice. Put a little hair gel in your hair.
I like come slick back, slick Rick.
Yes, yes, yes.
Sunglasses?
Do it.
Sunglasses?
Sunglasses, I want gel. I want 3 buttons minimum. I want the chest hair out.
Big gold chain.
Big chain. Wear a nice little watch. And maybe just bring a sandwich, fully wrapped, and use it as your card protector. Just put a sub over your cards. How's that sound?
I'll guarantee you I'm going to take a few shots before I start.
Wow, shots. Wow.
Simple Fact says, waiting to see when Rick gets off the table and has to comment on all the dumb decision he makes. There you go. There's the confidence builder I'm looking for, Simple Facts. Thanks, buddy. No, I agree.
Couple shekels there on the button. As you see, the small blind button bonus growing.
Dylan with a chance for it, for a couple black chips. What does Dylan have? Never know what he has. 10-7.
He's going to go after it. He's not going to fold.
Ace-5, not too shabby.
Weak ace dominated against Ren's big slick. Connor getting a good price from the big blind will make the call. So we will be going four-way to a flop.
Dylan, the only person eligible to win what's on the button right now. Here comes the flop. Ooh, there's a 5. King 4-5.
Yeah.
Ren hits a king.
Ace would be disastrous for Dylan here.
Yeah. Looks like 160.
Dylan's going to call the 165.
165.
Don't see Dylan going away just yet. A couple good turn cards, perhaps peels a 3 or a deuce, or God help us if an ace peels will be trouble for Camp Dylan.
Ren looks like a character from Scarface. We said he's very impressive tonight. 250.
We already said that, Nick. He's probably busy on his 7 other streams that he's on nightly.
Dylan wants the the button bonus there. Small blind button bonus.
250. Let's see what happens. Makes the call. Dead to 2 outs. Needs a 5 on this river. That's not it. Ren quickly reaching for chips. A smooth and confident 700.
Castleberry says, Tommy Bahama, gel, and an 11 beef. Oh, Castleberry. Love you, buddy. And
pocket aces again. What do? Well, I'll tell you what you don't do. You don't limp, because you will get burned if you limp. Always raise with the best hand in poker. Next, we have Connor with Jack 8 suited. That is my favorite hand personally. I love Jack 8 in general. I love it over pocket aces, but sometimes you just get what you get, and you get a raise for 75, you get bones, making a 3-bet to 3 and 25, but it's deja vu for me again. I get aces again, and I make it a 4-bet. I about 3x the 3-bet to 1K because I want to take that profit right now. I don't want to see a flop. Here are the cumulative winnings so far. I'm up $60, and I was down 1.5K at one point, but I've climbed my way back. There's still a couple more hands to go over, and I'm just glad I'm not down 2K, 3K, or 5K. As being down that much changes your style of playing because you want to chase back that money. But luckily for me, I've stayed consistent, I've given away no information, and I get rewarded in this hand. I get ace king of diamonds. So I decided to min-raise it just because I've been raising it too high in the past and no one's calling. So hopefully I can set a trap for someone to raise, and then I can call and actually play a hand, which luckily Bart falls for the bait and he 3-bets me to 215. I'm jumping for joy inside because I get to finally play a premium hand now. I have not been able to see a flop with most of these good hands. So this is a change up for me because I get my wish. So we're going to a flop and it comes out King 10 Queen. I have top pair, top kicker. I need a jack for a straight and I have a backdoor flush draw. Bart though doesn't have too much. If a jack comes out, then he has a king high straight, but I would have an ace high straight. So he bets 150. I snap call, and now we're going to a turn, which is a 4 of diamond, giving me the backdoor flush draw, which I don't really need because I already locked up this hand. So Bart goes decides to slow down and check it, but there's no slowing down for me. I'm betting 300 because I know I have the best hand. So Bart looks it over and tosses it away. The final hand we go over. We get a raise from Dylan to 40, Jack 10 suited. Pretty reasonable. Get Connor to call with Jack 8 suited. We get Jeremy to call pocket fours, but Tito in the cutoff gets queens and he 3-bets to 225. But I get aces yet again in the big blind. And I 4-bet this to $705. Everyone folds except Tito. And me and Tito have been battling all night long. So I'm not surprised he called and he got queens. But I got the aces and let's see if the aces can hold up. The flop comes Jack 9-6 all spades. I immediately bet 1K thinking I had a spade, but I didn't. But Tito does have a spade, and he has queens. He has an overpair. And a lot of people said he should have called. I would have called too, but he laid it down.
Got away there.
Wow.
What a fold there.
I don't know that I get away from that hand right there.
Not on the flop.
No.
I have to peel and at least see the turn there, but
What do you do if the 10 of spades comes out, you know? You have the queen, and he
Right.
bet 1K on the flop. It's I don't know that I'm feeling great even with the queen of spades in that spot.
right, it'd be tricky. And Ren's been firing multiple streets, sometimes with air, sometimes he's got it, but Ren's been one for action.
And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Here are the overall stats for tonight. My VPIP, I was tied for first, meaning I played a lot of hands and put a lot of money in the pot. My pre-flop raise and aggression frequency was kind of balanced because I was in the middle. When to showdown is one of the most important stats to me. I was at the bottom of the list, meaning I didn't have to show my cards to win money. It's very important because I gave away no information essentially. They didn't see my cards maybe only once I had to show it down. But other than that, I took the pot down without showing the cards. And finally, the cumulative winnings, I won 1.1K just in those last two hands. So I would say overall it's been a pretty good night. The lodge has been extremely nice and I love the lodge. I can tell you that. It is a must visit poker club and you would not be disappointed in the action that the lodge provides. Thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I hope to see you in the next review.